So, college. I want to talk about my experience in community college and how I ended up transferring, how that happened, why I did the path that I did, and yeah. I mean, this is a video that I definitely would have appreciated when I was still in high school trying to figure out what I wanted to do after. This is what I loved and hated about community college. So first, about my feelings about college. So most people in my family have a higher education. Education has always been something that has been highly prized, not just within my own family, but also in my culture. I mean, I'm Filipino, Chinese, Japanese, etc. So very generally, a lot of Asian cultures see academics as the only viable form of success. Additionally, family pressure, fear of failure, and pride heavily affected my upbringing. It affected me in a way that it didn't to my non-Asian peers, and that was something that I grew up dealing with pretty much all my life. Doubled in fact that I am the first generation to be born, raised, and educated entirely in America. No pressure, it's fine. I'm also, on my mother's side, I am also the oldest female cousin and the oldest one to have gone into college, and I haven't dropped out. There's plenty of eyes on me, ready and quick to criticize. All of this to say, growing up, I understood that it was never a matter of if I'm going to college, it was a matter of where. I'm incredibly fortunate that my dad is a veteran, meaning that I get his 9/11 GI Bill. Yeah, and the 9/11 GI Bill, I don't know how it works in other states. However, in California, that means that I get free tuition at any public California school. By the way, I am actually quite critical of America, not just in the way that they defecate on human rights, but especially on how they treat their veterans. But in this specific case, these colors don't run, bitch! USA! USA! What do you say? American? I'm American. I'm fully American. Yeah. What's my favorite animal? Eagles. I knew that I was either going to a UC or a CSU. I thought I was going to UC Davis for the longest time because it was close enough to my hometown for me to commute. I love watching those videos of like the dorm hall videos when I was younger. However, as it neared closer to my graduation date, I wasn't excited about the dorming experience. Rather, I was more excited about the shopping spree that came beforehand. And even at 17 years old, teenager Danielle was critical about the overconsumption. You know, so much money is being poured into these marketing plays to support companies that frankly don't care about your college success. Additionally, I'm incredibly fortunate that I have a family living in the Bay Area and Los Angeles. So I could pretty much live anywhere in California and still commute to school. Of course, depending on each one. Depends on the situation, obviously. However, the fact of the matter is that the opportunity is there. Someone will ask, like, oh, don't you want to be independent? No! I don't want to be independent. You learn so much living on your own. You have to live on your own at least once. Okay, fine, I'll do that after college. You have to do it during college. Okay, how much is that lesson worth? Is it worth $17,000? Sit with that. Is that lesson worth the amount of money it will take to buy a really good car? I also readily dislike the idea of putting pressure on literal children to move out of their families' homes at the ripe age of 17 or 18. I think it's just ludicrous. I lived in multi-generational households my entire life, so I'm obviously very biased. And also, I say that although choosing to live at home clearly has these huge financial benefits, not just to me, but for my family, who would otherwise be supporting me financially moving out of college. I saw moving out at a young age to be a purely American thing. And I saw it as a product of the prioritization of the individual in American culture. The choice to stay at home for a while longer, maybe until I'm married, it was a choice that I made because that is what Filipinos do. And I do like being at home, close by, and ready to help my family with whatever tasks they need. If my grandma needs a ride to the hospital, okay, I'm free, I'm here. I'm able to help her. That's why I'm here. I grew up in a culture that greatly values community over the individual, and my upbringing has greatly affected my worldview. Choosing to stay home during college wasn't just a financial decision, it was also a cultural decision. Luckily, didn't have to worry about commuting. thanks to this event you might have heard of.
Concern at this hour over a possible outbreak of a mystery virus.
ये तो बहुत ही बुरी स्थिति है और ये कैसा हो रहा है ये तो रवि जाने.
I graduated high school in 2020. Yay, class of 2020. Woo! You'd think I'd be more upset, especially during the event, but frankly, I never cared much for the formalities of senior year of high school. Prom, graduation, senior ditch day. I mean, a lot of those things weren't really a thing in the Philippines, and if they did, they lacked the same brevity of loss as it did in America. It was difficult to care about not having a prom when people back home in the Philippines were literally dying. I get it. You can't compare two struggles. Like, if you stub a toe and you break an arm, it doesn't make the stubbing a toe any less painful. Millions of people are being fired. Millions of people are being evicted and are now homeless because of the pandemic. And we're upset because we can't go to prom? Respectfully, get a grip. So as you can already tell, I greatly value education. However, I never cared much for the decorum of school. And you know how I can get an even cheaper education in the midst of this pandemic? Community college. So I chose to go to Glendale Community College because I had family close by. It made sense. I mean, they have a ton of students going there that are successful in the entertainment industry. I'm not looking to be in the entertainment industry, although, you know, never say never. And especially, one of the most important parts about college that I was looking forward to was networking. The pros of staying at home, but then I can network in the heart of LA. It just seemed like a no-brainer. It was entirely online. I only had one class in my last semester that was in person. Still, I really loved community college. I genuinely could not have asked for better professors. They were fantastic. GCC was the best choice I could have ever made. And no, there is no sniper pointing a red dot at my head. I love GCC so much. For context, I was attending GCC as an English and Spanish major. The English was an associate's for transfer, and if you are an English major at GCC, all of the English professors are fantastic. The English department is small, but goodness gracious, they know how to teach. It's one thing to be good at writing, it's a whole other thing to know how to teach it. And they are, I don't know, it's the English department, all the English teachers I've had were fantastic. If you are going to GCC as an English major, I very much recommend Dr. Harnett. He is fantastic. You'll take him if you're taking medieval lit, which is a common rec for English majors, but I think he might have been moved over to World Lit. Professor Parapinski, she is a creative writings teacher. My favorite was actually Prof. J. He was actually the one that sparked my interest in going into academia. I would have gone to JCC just for Prof. J. He was a fantastic professor. He was like fluent in French and Italian, and he was like a pretty difficult professor, but in a good way, one that pushes you. The first essay I got from him, I got like a 72, which was a shock. Usually during the first essay of the semester, I might average like 85. At the end of his classes I was getting hundreds. The last class that I took from him, I got all hundreds on my essays, and I got some fantastic feedback from him. He spends like an hour at least per essay on the student. Full name, if you want to look it up, is Chris Josuia. A lot of other English majors, they say the same thing. Like, we all really, really loved our English education at GCC. And I wouldn't be the person I am today without the impressive and skilled men and women in that department that helped me throughout my academic journey. One con though, I did have a 6-hour midterm. That was ridiculous. I did like the prof who did the class, but that 6-hour midterm was brutal. I also had a really good experience at GCC's DSPS department. Now, a lot of people have conflicting experiences. My experiences were great. Personally, I got my accommodations met once I had my papers in order. They were quick in responding. Diana Carrillo, she was my counselor, and she called me at like 8 p.m. or something stupid like that because I was gonna miss a deadline. Greatly appreciated that, of course. Love her. I say this, but like, that was my experience personally. I know other students had conflicting experiences when it came to dealing with DSPS. Even the gen ed teachers were great. Professor Rome, Prof. Rome is what we called her. She teaches communications at CSU, LA, and GCC. She's a stupid accommodating professor. I love her teaching pedagogy. She's great. Dr. Gago, if you need a science gen ed, take his marine bio class. He's a fantastic teacher and he's super involved in like the STEM community on campus. He runs the study abroad program in Baja. You know, science has always been my least favorite subject in school. But you know him, he's charismatic, accommodating, and I was sick on my final day and he let me take my final late, which if he didn't, my transfer would have been delayed by a whole semester. Dr. Gago, if for some godforsaken reason you're watching this, 1, why? But 2, also thank you. I saved me a lot of money and time. I think I cried of happiness that day. Anyway, if you are going to STEM, he is also a great resource from what I've heard. He also encourages a lot of the STEM kids to do research and publish in academic papers. And that is incredibly impressive for a community college. I also wondered on occasion what my life would have been like if I had a science teacher like him when I was younger. I could see myself going down a science path if I had someone as passionate and as lovely as him teaching it. I'm still confident in my career choice as of right now, but I feel like that alone proves to show his passion and enthusiasm for the subject. The book costs. GCC is doing a great job at reducing the cost for books and trying to make them affordable. You can even search up classes to choose classes that have like free textbooks. In my last semester, I didn't spend a cent on books. I also got free transportation all throughout LA thanks to GCC, and they had like a food pantry that was actually pretty good. I wasn't the most high achieving student at GCC, but I was incredibly resilient and passionate when it came to my education, and I'm thankful that my professor saw that in me. I loved going to community college. A lot of people told me to just go to a CSU because, I mean, they're both online, and quite frankly, I would have gotten free tuition either way. I genuinely would not trade my GCC education for anything else. I'd be lying if I said my time at community college was perfect. I chose to go to GCC to network, and that didn't really happen because of COVID. It worked a lot better in my last semester of college because I was on campus and I was able to talk to more people. I am thankful that I was most isolated in my education during my community college years as opposed to a 4-year, because I feel like I didn't mess up as many chances. Another thing I disliked about community college was very few professors. Let me tell you, most professors of mine, they were fantastic, as I said. Of course, no one is immune to bad professors, and I had some not as perfect professors like others that I've had. I don't think it's specific to this community college, nor is it specific to community college in general. As I've said, community college has some fantastic professors, but I think that because there is a lower barrier to entry to teach at a community college, the professionals that were still transitioning from industry to academia, I think that they were incredibly skilled at what they do. However, they have not yet mastered the skill of teaching it to other students. Maybe it's an LA community college thing, but yeah, being an industry professional doesn't mean you're a teaching professional. Aside from that, the only other cons that I could think of when it came to going to community college was that I missed out a lot on the college experience. However, it never interested me much anyway. Like, I didn't want to live on campus. Like, you're like, oh, you missed out on so many opportunities. Like what? Eating crappy food in a dining hall? You have to like dorm with people, make lifelong friends. I don't like the idea of having to pay money to make friends. Like, my experience was I was transferring, and community college is not perfect. It should be obvious that there is something wrong that so many people who want to transfer never do. Academia is broken. At community college, despite being created for the goal of an equitable education, it is flawed. It is broken. The system is broken. College, no matter what it is, education, whatever it is, it's important. And of course, this is my own bias coming in, but that is how getting a degree is the biggest telltale sign of what your income is going to look like in the future and how you can better support yourself. So yes, it's not fair, but education it's something that I personally really value in my life, and I'm grateful that I did it. I look at like my peers who went to college in another state across the country, and my jaw drops. Like, I cannot even imagine the amount of money it... Anyway, However, people look at my choice to attend a CSU and they're like, what are you doing? Why did you go to community college in the first place? You get free tuition. There's no wrong way to go about it. It's just your way. And if your path is unconventional like mine, or maybe you have kids and you're in college, or you took some time away and you're coming back, I mean, that's normal. That should be normalized. And a lot of people are doing that too. And good for you, getting an education, because that ain't easy. Claps all around. So I speak high praises of community college. Maybe I'm just lucky, frankly. I mean, I love and support any form of education, whether that be traditional or even going into like the trades. Education is education. I ended up transferring to Cal Poly Pomona because it's close to where I have extended family living. That's where I'm living right now with them. I am waiting for the next few weeks, and then school's going to start. And the reason why I chose Cal Poly was that it was a polytechnic school, meaning that they beat you in over the head. They really value like the learn by doing model. I feel like they really prepared you for having a job after college. Funnily enough, that isn't something that is incredibly important to me because I'm planning to go to graduate school. They do help you going to graduate school, but anyway, I do appreciate that they help you get a job after just your BA. I also like that the school has this required internship, and that really encourages the students to participate and be involved in school, and also to get, of course, hands-on experience at the job that they'll have after college. There's also some individual professors that I've read their books and I've really enjoyed. I think the Latinos of Asia, where is it? I'm using it as a tripod. I mean, and I also chose that school because they really take care of their transfers. Because it is a commuter school, there are a lot of transfers there. So I feel a lot less FOMO, knowing that most of my peers are in a similar boat as me. I've also heard that their DSPS center is pretty good. I don't know yet, obviously, but I'm excited to start this new chapter. Yay for education. So yeah, those are my thoughts on going to college. If you guys wanted to see what a week in my life is like from after going to GCC, I will have a video up here, and I'm also planning to post a video on the first week of college at Cal Poly Pomona, so please subscribe. And I'm trying to post new videos every Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and all of my socials are linked below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Go to school, kids. Okay, bye.